Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Smith Show. Today, Eric and I will be asking Mr. Smith a couple questions. Maybe the last Smith Show of the year here. So
That's right. Yeah, it's been another great year, and it's great to have Eric Linden and Kevin here today. I know that you guys, for each of our get-togethers, have a series of questions that you wanted to ask, and I'd be happy to give you whatever feedback I can.
All right. To start off, a little security update. Can you let us know what is happening with the security at the school? And will any more doors be locked, like the science wing?
Yeah, so I think at my last cable show we discussed the possibility of having a security audit done, and we have in fact in the process of continuing that audit through Synergy Solutions. They're a company that works with local SWAT teams and local law enforcement teams to audit schools and businesses, and they look at all of their security features, their doors, progress of students, how people come in and out, and we are still in that process of getting feedback from them. Once they have completed their report, they will give an official report to the superintendent for dissemination to the administration, and then ultimately to potential changes and implementing some new ideas for our school committee to consider. And as far as will more doors be locked, the answer is possibly. We locked the science door as a result of having a faculty meeting with both the middle and the high school, and it was felt as though that was a door that was a bit exposed. Really were very little sight lines, no adult supervision there, and we felt as though it would be important to lock those. We're really appreciative of our student population for being flexible and understanding that. And we don't think that it's been too big of an adjustment for students to have to go around the back. I know that it certainly was much more convenient to maybe go in and out of those doors, but we do feel as though it's an important change just to keep an exposed door locked so that we do know who's coming in and who's leaving our building. Some of you may know, too, that in the high school we've also done the same thing with regard to a door next to the main lobby that we locked and asking students to go around. And the reason for that is, once again, sight lines. We're trying to create an environment that is more secure, but then also still maintains some campus freedoms. So really it's a balance in the end. And as our superintendent and all the administrators have been saying all along, the biggest improvements that we'll be making will really be with regard to training. It will be training for faculty and training for students. The eyes and ears of our students and our faculty really are our best defense against any potential issues. We may make some adjustments with some other security features, but ultimately it's going to be training our staff and our students to be prepared for these situations. It's unfortunate, but it is the reality today that we do need to make sure that we're prepared in the unlikely but still possible situation where we could have, whether it be an intruder or some sort of evacuation needed because of chemicals. There's a whole range of things happening. So Synergy Solutions has been actively working with us and will be presenting a report to us in the near future.
Great.
All right, so let's talk about some important dates coming up. Can you tell us some important dates upcoming for the seniors and the rest of the school this year?
Yeah, as many of you know, high schools become very, very busy places late in the spring. We have a lot of athletic events taking place. We have a lot of band concerts. We not too long ago had a musical production, and some of the major senior events that will be coming up over the next few weeks. We have our senior boat cruise and dinner dance, which is great. It'll be aboard the Provincetown 2. Students will board buses here, coach buses, drive into Boston, and board the Provincetown 2 for a night of food and dancing and fun. And that's always a great time. The meeting time to begin is 5 o'clock, and we typically get back around 11. This year that's going to be on a Thursday night, which the faculty is really appreciative of, so that the next day, we only have one more day before the weekend comes in. The following week after that are a number of different events. We have Baccalaureate, which is really a community event, and it's not sponsored by the school. However, it is something that a lot of our students participate in. It's a great community event put on by parents in both Dover and Sherborn. And we highly encourage students to attend. It's a nice way to spend some reflective time with your class because those opportunities will become fewer and fewer as the school year winds down. The following evening, we have a senior awards night, and that includes some scholarships from our local Dover and Sherborn community representatives, and some academic awards which are given. And I just want to put a plug out there for our Dover and Sherborn community members, how grateful we are for their support in providing these scholarships. They are obviously very meaningful for our students and for their families, and we're really grateful that they continue to do so, to honor our students, to provide them some financial resources and the acknowledgement of a good job well done. So we really look forward to having all of those community members there. And then everything culminates in Thursday, June 7th with graduation, which will begin at 6 p.m. We are crossing our fingers that the weather will cooperate and we'll be outside on the Norris Searle Field. We've been able to do that the last few years, which is great. Graduation ceremonies last about an hour and a half. And then after that, the seniors move on to bigger and better things. One thing I am going to ask, and we'll be putting something out to our senior parents and our senior students, we would just ask that people refrain from the use of any type of cigars or any tobacco products. Once again, we're a school system, and it's illegal to have those on campus, and we also have a big investment in our turf field complex, and we would respectfully ask that students not bring and use cigars on the field because of the detriment it can do for that. And then obviously good decorum. Our students are great, and that's a major community event, and we want to end on a really high note and be really proud of all of our graduates. In addition to that, there are lots of other small little things that happen. There are senior project presentations from kids who went out on senior project. There's a big teacher appreciation ceremony which is coming up next week, and as many of you know, we have 2 teachers retiring who have each given over 40 years to public education. So it's over 80 years of teaching experience, Mrs. Vizelis and Mr. Potts. And we'll also be honoring those teachers who just completed their first year. So a lot of great things happening on the campus. It's a busy time, an important time, and certainly a time to celebrate.
Mm-hmm. All right.
Plans for next year. Is there anything new planned for the student body next year, or any improvements coming to the school this year? The library was redone,
right,
and there's been talk of renovations to the weight room.
Yeah, so I think with the weight room, we're waiting to get the final outcome from the security audit before we move ahead with some suggested plans of renovations there. We may purchase some additional equipment. We're looking actually into having a couple ergs, which are rowing machines, which can be used by students and are quite popular for our students to use, and a great way to engage in physical exercise. In terms of some of the improvements, we are going to be looking at all new cafeteria flooring. There's a lot of capital projects that the community has supported, and we'll be looking at probably some of the areas of our building, getting some fresh paint. There'll be some outdoor improvements. And those capital plans are something that is approved by the school committee. One thing that we are investigating, Dr. Keogh and I are looking into the potential for having therapy dogs brought to Dover-Sherborn, and we may try to do that for the end of this school year, and if not the end of this school year, then at some point next year. But we're looking into it, and we're going to review our policy and kind of procedures to see what we need to do. It's certainly something we're both supportive of, but we just want to also balance that out with the needs and concerns of the community. Many of our neighboring communities have done it, and we're hoping to bring something like that to Dover-Sherborn. Pine Hill, we were told, has a pony and a dog, so we're going to start smaller. We don't need a llama, and we don't need a giraffe, but we would like to have a couple therapy dogs, maybe potentially to come by during the final exams, and we would have them out in the courtyard. So between exams, students could go out there and play with the dogs and pet the dogs, and hopefully it goes along with our Challenge Success initiatives and our We Are DS initiatives to be an inclusive community that cares about the safe and health and well-being of our students. So we do have definitely a few things that are coming, and some of them will depend upon how things go in the rest of the year.
All right.
Interesting.
So plans for the summer. what is the school doing, or what are you doing in the summer? What happens in the school when you are gone? Or I guess I don't know if the administrators leave at all in the summer. And yeah,
So Miss Keegan and I are here, and then we also have some other administrators and other administrative assistants who do work a full year. So there's always somebody here, but I certainly do take some time. I'm going to be traveling to Fort Knox, Kentucky this summer. My son is graduating from his second year of leadership as part of his ROTC program. So I'm going to be heading down to Kentucky. Not sure what to expect down there, but that will be an interesting trip. Also looking to, just to have some opportunity to get away, get a little bit of time off, spend some time with my family and my kids. In terms of what happens when students leave and the faculty leaves, we do some additional hiring in some cases. We also, the school goes through a thorough cleaning and reorganization. We start setting up plans for the fall for teacher professional development, student initiatives, things that are going to be happening. So the summers actually is a great time for us to be able to sort of recharge, refocus. We have a brand new strategic plan that has been adopted by our regional school committee and developed by our superintendent of schools and our administrators. So we will be having a summer retreat with all of our administrators to look at those strategic priorities and what we can do to make Dover-Sherborn even better. We're firm believers in we do some things well, but there are always things that we can do better, and there are some things that we have to improve upon. So summer is certainly a slower pace, but that being said, there's still plenty to do in the summer so that we can get the school ready for the fall and the onslaught of a whole new class, a new group of seniors. And so it's an exciting time, and summer's a great reflective time too.
Yeah.
How about you two? What are you two up to this summer?
I'm going to be going down to Falmouth. I have a boat cleaning business on the Cape, so I'll be doing that.
Very nice. Entrepreneurial work. Nice.
Yeah, I'll be working actually at the school again. I did that last year.
Excellent.
With the groundskeepers, or I'll be working as just a little less work on a landscaping company, something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll stay. Hopefully, just get to relax a little more.
Great.
So, yeah.
Great. Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah. Then we have a couple more. Kind of more fun questions here. Are you interested in any summer movies coming out? I don't know if you saw anything.
There's nothing that I've seen yet. I definitely like action movies, but there's nothing in particular that I'm thinking about. I did see Chappaquiddick. I also saw a recent movie, it's escaping me, about CIA operatives. So I very much like the Bourne Identity type of movies, and anytime those come out, I'm always curious to see. I also love historical movies and documentaries. So there's always great things coming out. And of course, now in our day and age with Netflix, a lot of times the new shows come out in the spring and the summer, and there's always some good binge watching to do during some of those rainy summer days.
Yeah, are you a Star Wars fan at all? Because
Not a big Star Wars fan. So I saw the original, loved it, and I'm aware of some of the other ones, but haven't necessarily, I'm not a big fan. I'm certainly very appreciative of them, and I'm always kind of curious, but to me, the original was the best.
Yeah, I think the first three were, I think the first two are probably similar, I like them equally, and then the third one, I don't really know about that one, but yeah, there's a new one coming out, that's why I asked. It's coming out in 2 weeks. It's about the origin story of Han Solo.
Han Solo, yeah.
So, yeah. I don't know if you'd be interested in that at all. I already got my tickets 2 weeks ago.
You did?
So, yeah.
And you had to pre-order?
Yeah. I've done it the past 3 years that the new Star Wars come out. I get opening day tickets.
I was going to say, do you go to an opening night type of, and do they do anything special at those particular?
This Christmas, me and a couple of my friends, we dressed up in costumes.
Excellent.
Along with a lot of other people at the premiere, so that was fun.
Any Chewbacca?
Yeah, I had a mask.
Excellent.
Mask,
you were Chewbacca. That's excellent. That's great, Eric.
Yeah. And
Very
then,
cool.
one final question here. I don't know if you know, or we'll go for it. Are you a DC and Marvel fan? I don't know.
Probably more DC because I'm a big fan of Batman.
Yeah.
As a kid, I've always loved Batman, and I have a little Batman figurine in my office. And interesting enough, I was talking with the superintendent. I think it comes down to the original Batman which was Adam West and some of those kind of corny
Yeah.
TV show Batmans. But those were great, and then subsequently didn't see all of the Batman movies. I've just found Batman to be very intriguing. Don't have a lot of knowledge about some of the other characters. As when I was a child, I grew up with the Justice League was on TV as a cartoon, so obviously you became pretty familiar with those characters. But probably more DC simply because of Batman. But I know the Black Panther. There have been so many movies out. The Avengers are coming out. And certainly I know there's a huge following for it, so I think it's great for entertainment. I think they're fantastic movies, and just a great opportunity for people to still appreciate the big theaters, which seem to be fewer and fewer.
Yeah. All right, one final question. Did you watch the Celtics game last night?
I did watch the Celtics game last night. I'm a little bit tired. I was impressed, pleasantly surprised. I assumed that LeBron James would come out in full force, which I think he did,
Yeah, he did.
in the
He scored
beginning.
21 points the first quarter.
But it's interesting. I think it's a great lesson in team chemistry. It shows that one person can't do everything on their own, and that you do need a team to do a lot of things. So I think it's a great lesson for students and student athletes in particular, that when you bring together the chemistry of different people and everyone understands what their job is, that you can be incredibly effective. We've got a lot of young players that play in Boston. They're only going to get better, but they believe in each other, they support each other, they're unselfish. So I think there's a lot of lessons actually that we can take from the Celtics, and you could really put that into anything, any club or any group, a band, a team. You know, if you're on a relay team, it's all about being unselfish and supporting one another and doing your job. And as a result, Celtics have been a lot of fun this spring, an unexpected pleasure.
Yeah,
for sure.
All right, that wraps it up, I think. Mr. Smith, thank you for coming again.
Yeah, thank you. Have a great spring. It was great to see you guys. And Eric, best of luck next year. We'll miss you, but certainly keep in touch and let us know how you're doing. And Kevin, we know that you will be back.
I'll be around.
Joining us on our school council. And that's a wrap. Thank you, everybody.